My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest pains in life is not when people speak badly about us, but when their words begin to affect how we see ourselves. Sometimes one insult can stay in the heart for years. Sometimes one disrespectful moment can make a person question their worth. Sometimes the opinions of people become heavier than they should be. But today, let us understand something powerful. No one can truly disrespect you unless you forget who you are in the sight of Allah. When a believer knows their value, when a believer protects their dignity, when a believer controls their reactions, when a believer trusts Allah more than people, they become emotionally strong, calm, and unshakable. People may speak, but their words will not break you. People may judge, but their opinions will not define you. People may try, but they will not be able to reduce your worth, because true dignity comes from Allah. Today, we will learn 5 powerful rules that will protect your respect, strengthen your character, and bring peace to your heart. 1. Respect yourself first. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the biggest reasons people feel disrespected in life is not always because others are bad, but often because they forget the value Allah has already given them. When a person does not see their own worth, they unknowingly allow others to treat them without care. This is why self-respect is not just an emotional idea, it is a protection for your heart, your dignity, and your peace. People observe how you treat yourself. They notice what you tolerate, what you accept, and what you ignore. If a person constantly accepts behavior that hurts them, people slowly begin to think that such behavior is acceptable. But when someone carries themselves with quiet dignity, when someone does not compromise their values just to gain approval, others begin to understand that this person cannot be treated carelessly. Respect often begins from within, long before it appears in the behavior of others. Self-respect does not mean becoming arrogant or thinking you are better than others. Islam teaches humility, kindness, and gentleness. However, humility does not mean allowing yourself to be humiliated. There is a difference between lowering your ego and lowering your value. A believer is humble before Allah but dignified in front of people. A believer forgives but does not allow repeated harm. A believer is kind but does not allow others to take advantage of that kindness. Remember, Allah created you with honor. Allah says that He has honored the children of Adam. This means your existence already has value. Your dignity does not come from people's opinions. It comes from your Creator. When you truly understand this, you stop chasing validation from everyone around you. You stop feeling desperate for acceptance. You stop feeling weak when someone disapproves of you. Many people lose their self-respect because they constantly try to please everyone. They fear losing people, so they say yes to everything. They stay silent when they should speak. They accept disrespect because they do not want conflict. Slowly, their inner strength becomes weaker and others begin to treat them without seriousness. Trying to make everyone happy is an endless struggle because people's expectations never stop. But when your priority becomes pleasing Allah, your decisions become clearer and stronger. When a person respects themselves, they naturally develop healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not a sign of harshness, they are a sign of self-understanding. You begin to know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in your life. You choose your company more carefully. You protect your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. This does not make you distant, it makes you balanced. It allows you to give goodness to others without losing yourself in the process. Calm confidence is one of the strongest forms of self-respect. It does not need loud words or constant explanations. It appears in the way you speak, the way you respond, and even in the way you remain silent when necessary. A person who respects themselves does not feel the need to prove their worth in every conversation. They do not beg for attention. They do not chase approval. Their presence itself reflects stability and self-control. When you truly understand your value as a servant of Allah, you stop allowing temporary opinions to damage your permanent dignity. You remember that your honor is connected to your character, your faith, and your actions. No insult can reduce your value if you remain firm upon what is right. No negative comment can define you when Allah knows your intention and effort. Respect yourself enough to walk away from environments that constantly hurt you. Respect yourself enough to speak with honesty and kindness, but also with strength. Respect yourself enough to protect your peace from unnecessary drama. When you begin to treat yourself with dignity, people slowly learn how they must treat you as well. Dignity is powerful because it does not need to announce itself. It is felt through behavior, patience, and self-control. When your heart knows its worth, your actions naturally reflect confidence. And when your actions reflect confidence, people think carefully before crossing your boundaries. Always remember, your value is not decided by how loudly people praise you or how strongly they criticize you. Your value comes from being a creation of Allah, striving to live with sincerity and integrity. When this understanding becomes strong inside you, you no longer feel shaken by disrespect because you know who you are, and more importantly, you know who your Lord is. 2. Control your emotions. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest strengths a person can develop in life is emotional control. Many people believe power is in physical strength, wealth, or status. But true strength is the ability to remain calm when emotions are trying to take control. A person who cannot control their emotions often loses their peace, their dignity, and sometimes even their relationships. But a person who learns to control their reactions protects themselves from many regrets. In life, there will always be situations that test your patience. People may misunderstand you. People may speak without thinking. People may say words that hurt your heart. These moments are not a sign that you are weak. These moments are a test of your emotional discipline. The reaction you choose in these moments often decides whether the situation becomes bigger or disappears quietly. When anger controls a person, they often say things they later regret. Words spoken in anger cannot always be taken back. Even if forgiveness is given, the memory of those words sometimes remains in the hearts of others. This is why controlling emotions is not only beneficial for you, but also for the people around you. Emotional control protects relationships from unnecessary damage. A believer understands that not every feeling needs to be expressed immediately. Not every thought needs to become words. Sometimes silence gives you time to think clearly. When emotions are high, judgment becomes weak. A small problem can suddenly feel very big. A simple misunderstanding can become a serious conflict. But when a person pauses, reflects, and responds with wisdom instead of reacting with impulse, many problems end before they even begin. Controlling emotions does not mean suppressing your feelings completely. Islam does not teach us to become emotionless. Islam teaches balance. It teaches us to feel, but not to become controlled by those feelings. It teaches us to experience anger, but not allow anger to lead us to injustice. It teaches us to feel sadness, but not to lose hope in Allah. It teaches us to experience happiness, but not forget gratitude. When someone provokes you and you respond with calmness, you show strength of character. Many people expect immediate reactions. They expect arguments. They expect emotional responses. But when they see patience instead of anger, they realize they cannot control you. Emotional discipline gives you independence from the behavior of others. It prevents people from having power over your inner peace. One of the signs of maturity is choosing your response carefully. Sometimes the best response is silence. Sometimes the best response is changing the topic. Sometimes the best response is simply walking away. Not every situation deserves your emotional energy. Protecting your emotional energy is part of protecting your mental and spiritual well-being. When a person reacts strongly to everything, they become easily disturbed. Small issues begin to affect their mood. Small comments begin to affect their confidence. Slowly, their peace becomes dependent on people's behavior. But when a person becomes emotionally stable, they do not allow every situation to control their inner state. They remain balanced even when life becomes challenging. Emotional control also strengthens decision making. When emotions take control, decisions are often rushed and influenced by temporary feelings. But when the mind is calm, decisions are clearer and wiser. A calm mind allows you to see the reality of situations instead of reacting only to how you feel in the moment. Patience is deeply connected to emotional control. Patience does not mean weakness. Patience means strength with discipline. Patience means you trust that reacting impulsively will not improve the situation. Patience means you understand that time often reveals truth better than arguments. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is not the one speaking the most, but the one remaining composed. Calmness shows confidence. Calmness shows self-control. Calmness shows that your peace is more valuable than winning arguments. When you control your emotions, people begin to respect you differently. They see stability in your personality. They feel security in your presence. They understand that you are not easily shaken by negativity. This type of personality naturally commands respect without demanding it. Always remember that emotions are temporary, but consequences of reactions can be long-lasting. One moment of anger can create years of regret. One emotional reaction can damage something that took a long time to build. But one moment of patience can prevent many problems. When you feel overwhelmed, take a step back. Give yourself time to think. Remind yourself that not everything deserves an immediate reaction. Your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Your dignity is more important than winning an argument. A believer's strength is not measured by how loudly they react, but by how wisely they respond. Emotional control allows you to remain focused on what truly matters. It protects your heart from unnecessary stress. It protects your relationships from unnecessary damage, and most importantly, it helps you live with dignity and calmness even in difficult situations. When you master your emotions, you protect your respect, because people may try to provoke you, but they cannot control someone who has learned to control themselves. 3. Not everyone deserves access to you. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most important lessons a person can learn in life is understanding that not everyone deserves full access to your time, your energy, and your personal life. Many people suffer emotionally, not because they are weak, but because they allow too many people to become deeply involved in their lives without wisdom or careful judgment. When everyone has access to you, your peace slowly begins to disappear. In today's world, people often feel pressured to share everything. They share their plans, their problems, their struggles, and even their private matters with many people. Sometimes this happens because they are seeking understanding, and sometimes it happens because they want acceptance. But not everyone who listens truly cares. Not everyone who smiles truly supports you. Some people listen only to judge, some listen only to compare, and some listen only to use that information later. A wise believer understands the value of privacy. Privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is protection. When you protect certain parts of your life, you protect your emotional well-being. You reduce unnecessary opinions, unnecessary criticism, and unnecessary negativity. Many problems begin when too many people become involved in matters that do not concern them. Not everyone needs to know your goals. Not everyone needs to know your struggles. Not everyone needs to know your plans for the future. When too many people know too much, they begin to influence your thinking. Their doubts can weaken your confidence. Their negativity can create fear. Their opinions can confuse your decisions. This is why protecting your personal space is a sign of wisdom, not distance. Giving everyone access to your time can also slowly drain your energy. Some people constantly demand attention, constant conversation, and constant emotional support, but they do not give the same care in return. When your time is always available for everyone, you may slowly lose time for your own growth, your own peace, and your own connection with Allah. Balance is necessary. You can care for others without neglecting yourself. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They show that you understand your limits and your responsibilities. Boundaries help you decide who deserves closeness and who should remain at a distance. This does not mean you become cold or distant from people. It simply means you become selective about how much influence others have in your life. Sometimes people become too comfortable when you are always available. When a person feels they can reach you at any time, ask anything, or involve you in everything, they may slowly stop valuing your presence. Scarcity increases value. When your time and attention are balanced, people appreciate them more. When everything is always available, appreciation often decreases. A believer also understands that emotional energy is valuable. Listening to negativity all the time affects the heart. Being surrounded by constant complaints affects your mindset. Hearing constant criticism can slowly reduce your confidence. Protecting your environment is part of protecting your mental peace. You have the right to distance yourself from conversations and environments that constantly disturb your inner calm. It is also important to understand that not everyone will understand your journey. Some people may not understand your goals. Some people may not understand your values. Some people may not understand why you are trying to improve yourself. If you share your plans with people who do not understand your intentions, they may discourage you or make you doubt yourself. Sometimes it is better to work quietly and allow results to speak later. Choosing who has access to you also means choosing who influences you. The people around you affect your mindset, your habits, and even your beliefs. Positive company encourages growth, patience, and improvement. Negative company often encourages doubt, distraction, and comparison. When you limit access to those who bring goodness into your life, you protect your future from unnecessary obstacles. It is possible to be kind and still maintain distance. Kindness does not require full exposure of your personal life. You can speak respectfully, behave gently, and still protect your private matters. You can support others without sacrificing your emotional stability. Islam teaches balance in relationships. We are encouraged to maintain good character, but we are also encouraged to avoid harm. Many people regret sharing too much when they realize their personal matters have become topics of discussion. Words cannot be taken back once they are spoken. Information cannot be hidden once it has been shared widely. This is why thinking before sharing is a sign of wisdom. Not everything needs to be explained. Not everything needs to be discussed. Some matters are better protected between you and Allah. Limiting access does not mean isolating yourself from everyone. It means understanding levels of closeness. Some people may be good acquaintances but not close friends. Some people may be kind but not trustworthy with personal matters. Some people may be supportive but not suitable for every conversation. Recognizing these differences protects your peace and strengthens your judgment. When you respect your own privacy, people begin to respect your boundaries. They understand that your time is valuable. They understand that your presence is meaningful. They understand that closeness with you is something to be appreciated, not taken for granted. A peaceful life is often a private life. Growth happens quietly. Healing happens quietly. Improvement happens quietly. When too many opinions enter your journey, clarity becomes difficult. But when your circle is balanced and your boundaries are clear, your focus becomes stronger. Always remember, not everyone deserves full access to you. Your heart, your time, and your energy are valuable trusts from Allah. Protecting them is part of living with wisdom. When you limit unnecessary access, you create space for peace, clarity, and personal growth. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. The people who truly value you will not demand constant explanations. And the people who truly understand you will appreciate your presence even if you are not always available. Protect your peace by choosing wisely who has access to your life. Because when access is limited with wisdom, respect naturally increases and your heart remains calm and secure. 4. Silence is sometimes power. My dear brothers and sisters, in a world where everyone feels the need to speak, explain, defend, and prove themselves, silence has become rare. Many people think that power is shown through loud words, strong arguments, and constant explanations. But true wisdom often appears in calmness. True strength often appears in restraint. And true power is often hidden inside silence. Silence is not always weakness. Silence is often control. It is the ability to pause when emotions want to react. It is the ability to remain calm when situations try to disturb your peace. It is the ability to choose dignity over unnecessary arguments. Many conflicts become bigger simply because people feel they must respond to everything. Someone says something and we feel we must reply immediately. Someone criticizes us and we feel we must defend ourselves instantly. Someone misunderstands us and we feel we must explain everything. But not every opinion deserves your response. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every situation deserves your attention. Sometimes silence sends a stronger message than words ever could. Silence shows confidence. Silence shows emotional control. Silence shows that your peace is more important than winning an argument. When you refuse to engage in negativity, you protect your dignity. When you refuse to argue with foolishness, you protect your time. When you refuse to react to provocation, you protect your character. A wise person understands that speaking less often leads to fewer regrets. Many people wish they could take back words they spoke in moments of anger. Many relationships are damaged because of sentences spoken without thinking. Words can heal, but words can also hurt deeply. Once words are spoken, they cannot be returned. Silence, on the other hand, protects you from saying something that may later cause pain. Silence gives you time to think clearly. When emotions are high, judgment becomes weak. A person who reacts immediately often reacts emotionally, not wisely. But when you pause and remain silent for a moment, your mind begins to settle. You begin to see the situation more clearly. You begin to understand whether a response is truly necessary. Sometimes people try to provoke reactions intentionally. They want attention. They want conflict. They want emotional responses. But when they do not receive the reaction they expected, their effort loses power. Silence removes the fuel from many unnecessary conflicts. Without reaction, many negative situations slowly disappear. Silence also protects your respect. People observe how you respond in difficult moments. If you respond with anger to everything, people begin to see instability. But when you remain calm, people see strength. Calmness reflects maturity. Calmness reflects confidence. Calmness reflects discipline. There is also great wisdom in choosing which battles deserve your attention. Not every disagreement needs to become a debate. Not every misunderstanding needs a long explanation. Some matters become small when ignored. Some negativity loses importance when not given attention. Your energy is limited and it should be invested wisely. Silence helps protect relationships as well. In moments of anger, people often say things they do not truly mean. Words spoken in emotional moments can create long-term distance between hearts. But when a person remains silent and allows emotions to settle, the chance of regret becomes smaller. Silence creates space for patience. Silence creates space for understanding. A believer understands that controlling the tongue is part of strong character. The tongue is small, but its impact is very big. A few careless words can destroy trust. A few negative sentences can hurt deeply. But careful speech strengthens relationships and increases respect. Silence does not mean you never speak. Silence means you speak with purpose. Silence means your words are chosen carefully. Silence means you avoid useless arguments. Silence means you avoid unnecessary negativity. Silence means you do not waste energy proving yourself to those who have already decided not to understand. There are moments when silence protects your peace more than explanations ever could. Explaining yourself repeatedly to people who are not willing to understand only creates frustration. Sometimes people are committed to misunderstanding. In such situations, silence becomes protection. Silence also increases your presence. When a person speaks less, their words gain more value. People listen more carefully when you do speak. People take your words more seriously when you do not speak unnecessarily. Speaking all the time reduces the importance of your voice. Speaking with balance increases the weight of your words. Silence allows you to observe more. You begin to notice things others miss. You begin to understand situations more deeply. Observation increases wisdom. Listening increases understanding. Many people speak so much that they do not learn from what is happening around them. A peaceful heart often belongs to a person who does not feel the need to react to everything. When you reduce unnecessary conversations, unnecessary arguments, and unnecessary explanations, your mind becomes calmer, your focus becomes clearer, your energy becomes stronger. Choosing silence in difficult moments is not easy, but it is powerful. It shows discipline over impulse. It shows wisdom over ego. It shows patience over pride. And patience often leads to better outcomes than immediate reaction. Always remember, silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Silence is protection. Silence is dignity. Silence is strength. When you master silence, you protect yourself from many problems that words could have created. People may expect you to react. People may expect you to argue. People may expect you to defend yourself. But when you choose silence with wisdom, you show that your peace is more valuable than their opinions. Silence is sometimes power because it keeps you above unnecessary conflict. It keeps your heart calm. It keeps your dignity protected. And it allows you to focus on what truly matters in life. 5. Seek validation from Allah, not people. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest reasons people feel hurt, disrespected, or emotionally weak is because they constantly seek validation from others. They want to be appreciated by everyone. They want everyone to understand them. They want everyone to approve of their decisions. And when that approval does not come, their hearts feel heavy. But the reality of life is that people's opinions constantly change. Today someone may praise you, tomorrow the same person may criticize you. Today someone may support you, tomorrow they may misunderstand you. If your peace depends on people's approval, your peace will never remain stable. This is why one of the most powerful shifts a person can make is to stop seeking validation from people and start seeking acceptance from Allah. When your intention becomes pleasing Allah, something beautiful happens inside your heart. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You no longer feel desperate for approval. You no longer feel broken when someone misunderstands you, because you know that Allah sees your effort, Allah knows your intention, and Allah understands what is inside your heart, even when people do not. People see actions, but Allah sees intentions. People judge quickly, but Allah judges with complete knowledge. People misunderstand situations, but Allah knows every detail. When you constantly worry about what people think, you begin to lose your confidence. You begin to doubt your decisions. You begin to feel anxious about every step you take. You may start living your life according to people's expectations instead of your own values. Slowly, you become disconnected from your true purpose. But when your goal becomes pleasing Allah, your direction becomes clear. You begin to make decisions based on what is right, not based on what is popular. You begin to choose patience even when others do not understand. You begin to choose honesty even when it is difficult. You begin to choose dignity even when compromise seems easier. Seeking validation from people often leads to exhaustion. Trying to satisfy everyone is impossible. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who disagrees. No matter how carefully you speak, there will always be someone who misunderstands. No matter how sincerely you try, there will always be someone who criticizes. But when you focus on pleasing Allah, your heart becomes lighter, because Allah does not expect perfection. Allah expects sincerity. Allah does not demand that you never make mistakes. Allah loves when you return to Him after mistakes. Allah values effort, patience, and honesty. When you understand this, you stop feeling the need to constantly prove yourself to people. You stop explaining your worth to those who do not appreciate it. You stop chasing acceptance from those who are never satisfied. A believer understands that dignity comes from Allah, respect comes from Allah, honor comes from Allah. When Allah gives someone honor, no one can remove it. And when someone loses connection with Allah, no amount of praise from people can give real peace. Sometimes people may judge your silence as weakness. Sometimes people may misunderstand your patience. Sometimes people may not recognize your struggles. But Allah knows every tear that no one saw. Allah knows every effort that no one appreciated. Allah knows every difficulty that you faced quietly. When your heart finds comfort in the knowledge that Allah understands you, the opinions of people begin to lose their power over you. You still treat people with kindness. You still behave with respect. But your emotional stability no longer depends on their approval. Seeking validation from Allah also protects you from becoming controlled by praise. Praise can sometimes be as dangerous as criticism. When a person becomes dependent on praise, they begin to change their behavior just to maintain that praise. They begin to fear losing people's approval. This fear can slowly weaken sincerity. But when your focus remains on Allah, praise and criticism both lose their ability to control you. You remain balanced, you remain sincere, you remain focused on improvement instead of image. A peaceful heart comes from knowing that your worth is not decided by social approval. Your worth is not decided by how many people praise you. Your worth is not decided by how many people agree with you. Your worth is connected to your relationship with Allah. When Allah is pleased with you, even difficult situations begin to feel lighter. Even moments of loneliness begin to feel meaningful. Even struggles begin to feel purposeful. Because you know that every effort is seen by the one whose judgment is perfect. Living for people often creates fear. Fear of criticism, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. But living for Allah creates courage. Courage to do what is right. Courage to remain patient. Courage to remain sincere, even when no one is watching. When your intention becomes pleasing Allah, you stop comparing your life with others. You stop feeling jealous of what others have. You stop feeling insecure about what others think, because you understand that everyone has a different journey and Allah knows what is best for each person. Your dignity increases when your dependence on people decreases. Your confidence increases when your trust in Allah increases. Your peace increases when your focus shifts from people's approval to Allah's acceptance. A believer continues to show good character, not because people are always kind, but because Allah loves good character. A believer continues to act with patience, not because people always deserve patience, but because Allah rewards patience. A believer continues to do good, not because people always notice, but because Allah always notices. When you seek validation from Allah, you protect yourself from emotional instability. People may change, but Allah does not change. People may forget your goodness, but Allah never forgets even the smallest good deed. People may misunderstand your intentions, but Allah understands what is hidden inside your heart. Always remind yourself that you are not living to impress people. You are living to fulfill your purpose. Your purpose is greater than temporary opinions. Your purpose is greater than temporary approval. When your heart becomes attached to Allah, your need for constant validation from people begins to disappear. You still appreciate kindness, but you do not depend on it. You still value respect, but you do not chase it. You still care about relationships, but you do not lose yourself trying to please everyone. The person who seeks validation from Allah becomes emotionally strong. Criticism does not break them. Praise does not control them. Rejection does not destroy their confidence, because their stability comes from something deeper than public opinion. Always remember, people's opinions are temporary, but Allah's judgment is eternal. People see only a small part of your story, but Allah sees the complete picture. People may misunderstand your silence, but Allah understands your patience. When Allah gives you dignity, no one can truly humiliate you. When Allah gives you strength, no one can truly weaken you. When Allah gives you peace, no one can truly disturb your heart. So seek acceptance from Allah and you will find freedom from the pressure of pleasing everyone. Seek closeness to Allah and you will find peace that does not depend on people. Seek validation from Allah and you will discover a strength that no insult can destroy. Because when Allah is enough for you, the opinions of people become small and your dignity becomes unshakable. My dear brothers and sisters, always remember your dignity is not in the hands of people. Your dignity is in the hands of Allah. When you respect yourself, people learn how to treat you. When you control your emotions, people lose the power to disturb you. When you protect your boundaries, your value increases. When you choose silence wisely, your character becomes stronger. And when you seek validation from Allah instead of people, your heart finds peace that no opinion can shake. People may speak, but their words cannot define you. People may judge, but their judgment cannot change your worth. People may try to hurt you, but they cannot break a heart that relies on Allah. The stronger your connection with Allah becomes, the weaker the opinions of people feel. The more you understand your purpose, the less you feel the need to prove yourself. The more you protect your dignity, the more your presence commands respect without effort. Do not chase acceptance from those who do not understand your value. Do not lower your standards just to avoid temporary criticism. Do not sacrifice your peace just to satisfy everyone. You were created with honor. You were created with purpose. And your worth does not decrease because someone fails to see it. Stay calm, stay sincere, and stay connected to Allah. Because when Allah gives you dignity, no one can truly take it away. May Allah protect our hearts from unnecessary pain, strengthen our character, and grant us the wisdom to live with honor in this life and success in the hereafter. Ameen.